and all. So tell
Yeah,
us
yeah,
more. Tell us more, Michael. Please tell us about your
yeah,
book.
yeah. First, this is the book. This is the book. Yeah. As you can see, there's this cover girl. She was in Manila at that time when the photo was taken, and Manila was also under lockdown. So it was quite challenging to have it taken. And we cannot take a photograph of a maid here as well because they also are unable to see us in person. Their employers do not allow that. So I happen to know her, and she's over in Manila, and I communicated with her through WhatsApp and directed how she should take her photograph, and she took it herself, of course, with her own lights and her own phone. She took it, and then when we are happy with the photo, she sends it over to us, and we edited it into the design. Yeah, so that itself was quite a surprising challenge because of COVID. However, COVID, I think, has its advantage as well because life silenced down, the society silenced down, and it was good to write when things are silent. So that does help. I think the vibrations will be just ideal for creative writing. So that's one. It does help. I was inspired by actually this girl, and I met her in Singapore, and she was a maid, but instead of congregating with fellow maids during Sundays and all that, she would take pretty pictures in places of interest of herself and the backdrop of those places of interest and post it on her Instagram, and she gets some following. Yeah, and now she even have a yoga channel. And she does all the yoga asanas and put on her yoga channel. So I was thinking it's very different from what people think of maids because in Singapore, I think maids tend to be invisible to a lot of people. We pretend that they are not there and yet expect household chores to be magically done by them. So that encounter inspired me to research more online, and I found other maids that are equally inspiring. There's another one who is a award-winning photographer in the end, and she has a large following on Instagram, almost a celebrity. And yet another one is a Sri Lankan maid who went back and became a businesswoman exporting tea leaves. So there are such very inspiring stories that I want to make into a fiction and then tell it to people so that their perception may change. In fact, recently after the book is written, I met a maid that finished a diploma in tourism while she was a maid in 2 years. So now she's trying to look for opportunities to work in the tourism industry. Yeah. So that inspired me to write the book. How did I do in 6 months is I suppose again meditation taught me how to be very focused and not to be distracted, and I'm an impatient person. So I follow up with the characters and get obsessed with the plots and characters. So that's how it became so fast in 6 months.
With respect.
One thing I like to mention is that I chose not to write a social realistic fiction or documentary because I think it would be rather sad to hear some of those stories. So I'd rather not do that, and I chose to write a romantic comedy to see the bright side of life that is there. They say that you can't move shadows, right? But if you can shift the light, then the shadow will disappear. So in that metaphor, I preferred to write a romantic comedy, and I did. So in the romantic comedy, there are also a lot of messages that is told indirectly in terms of humor. So the story is told quite differently. First, as from the perspective of the maid. Secondly, is of her falling in love and making difficult choices in the end in the story. And going in to become an influencer secretly while keeping her status as a maid a secret until the cover is blown and all hell broke loose. Yeah, because it was a lockdown in Philippines, she cannot come out and take photographs as well. But she happened to have a neighbor that is under renovation, so the walls were all broken down and the daylight came in. So itself it was quite good light for taking photographs. So we took advantage of that, and those photographs were taken. If not for that, then it'd be quite hard pressed to take indoor photographs with a limited daylight, given that she doesn't have professional photographers, lightings, and all that. Okay, the easiest way is to go to Facebook group Made in Singapore and join it. And over there will be a link to buy the book. First, to enter the details on the online form, and then to pay using PayNow to the telephone number listed there. We wrote the book with the intention of making it into a movie, actually. So that has been in the plans from beginning. A book and a film is different in that a film is essentially visual. Okay, something that is not visual, you can't represent in a film easily. You can represent in a book easily. For example, it's easy to say that she is frustrated in a book, just a few words. However, on a film, how to show that she's frustrated? It's internal, right? So it has to be represented visually, right? Maybe through the music being very aggressive music. She's wearing red color. The lighting is also very abrupt and alternating. So there are different techniques to make that emotion in a film. So I think it's good to make a film because there are many people who prefer to watch a video or a film as opposed to reading. Sadly, less and less people are reading, so a film will come in handy for them to enjoy and understand the different facets of a maid's life in Singapore. Okay, the trend now is towards the video on demand streaming kind of platforms. So it's either that or through theaters, which are, I think, tougher. We don't know what's happening to theaters in some countries. They are still banned. And some people tend not to want to go and watch in a theater because they are used to now watching at home through streaming. So these are the commercial aspects of distribution. From the story point of view, is the same. If you are making a movie is a movie, whether it's screened on small screen or big screen. Now the question is, if they want to have a series, then the story has to be built upon to have different layers, right, in order to carry it on in a series. Whereas a movie, you only need one principal story from A to Z. Whereas in a series, you have a main story and then you have sub-stories going up and down throughout maybe 10 episodes or 15 episodes. So it's a different, the story will have to be extended and so on if it's going to be on a drama series. Yeah. In Europe, we do not have maids and all that. In one of our trips here, my European friend was really shocked that we have maids in almost every home. The current statistic is that 1 in 5 homes have a maid. And during outings in Singapore and with the family, the maids will be tagging along, maybe carrying some things or carrying the baby or pushing the pram, where the employers be walking in front, busying themselves with looking at window shopping or something like that. So it's something that is very alien to the European culture now, although traditionally, maybe 200 years ago, they also have maids. And that only the super rich will have maids. And even today, only the super rich have maids and very few in Europe. Same with America. So that contrast have always been in my mind. I etched in my mind that memory. So when I see the other aspects of of how maids are treated here, it kind of provoked me to write a novel out of it. In the aristocratic class where they have chateaus and castles and all that, they do have servants'
Yeah.
quarters. So that do
The
happen, but
butlers,
very rare, very rare. And even some of these nobles and aristocrats, some of them, they are just asset rich. They may not have the cash to, and then also maintenance of castles and chateaus cost a lot of money. So
Certainly.
they do the gardening themselves. They buy huge tractors to mow the lawn. They drive the tractor and then just mow, and it's huge piece of land, beautiful. But you still have to maintain them. And during autumn, you have to clean the leaves up. So they do it themselves now. Actually, they would love to have helpers like what we have. We have made the video trailer already. So the video trailer
Oh,
will be out
wow.
very soon. So you can have a sneak peek into it very soon.